Hello, everybody. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
Welcome to the Simon Whistler Show with my man, Sam Myers.
It's me.
Okay, so I thought, I've been listening to a lot of these podcasts that we've recorded, and I've been going through producer Bruno's work and seeing all the joy of what we're creating.
Have we brought joy or has it been a bit depressing?
Well, what I found is we're going to have a lot of people listening to this and looking forward to Christmas because the number of... I don't even realize it when we're doing it, but the number of references that we make to upcoming events or things that have recently passed. And I'm like, oh yeah, the leaves are really changing. And I'm like, it's February.
I was just literally about to say Happy New Year and welcome back after the New Year. So
yeah, no, we need to... Also, I was thinking it'd be really great once we get this kind of on a regular schedule. We should try and keep this timely because there's so much timely shit that I want to talk about.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I was listening to, we talked about me having the kids and then it's like the kid's 2 weeks old and now it's like 6 weeks old and things change and you're like, you want to I don't know. It's probably
flies.
Really boring because everyone thinks their kid's interesting, but everyone else thinks your kid's boring. So I've got to always keep that in mind because it's really hard to... You forget. You really forget that your kid is really boring.
Yeah, I have the same problem with my cat. I forget that people don't
like
want to hear about my cat. I think it's interesting, but hey, it's no. I'm joking. I'm very interested in your kid. So this is.
I don't know. You don't have to be. It is really. It poos. It pees. I shouldn't call it it. She. Anyway, so I got to keep that in mind. I do want to talk about, however, how we always listen to a little bit of music before the show starts, and we were listening to Mr. Ed Sheeran. Is he knighted?
No.
He's too young.
Yeah.
But then Andy Murray is a knight.
Is he a knight?
He's a knight.
No.
He won Wimbledon and they gave him a knighted.
Does he have a shield in Windsor Castle?
I don't know what that is.
Because in Windsor Castle, there's the big dining hall where they do all the big dining events.
Yeah.
And if you look up on the
I didn't
ceiling...
know that, by the way.
Oh, there is. There's a bit,
okay.
It was the famous one that it burned down, when there was the big fire, 15, 20 years ago.
No. Really?
Yeah, and then they opened Buckingham Palace and everyone could go to Buckingham Palace.
Oh, wow.
So that they could raise money to fix Windsor Castle.
Well, are they running out of money?
Well, then they're not allowed to use state money to build their castles and their houses, so they had to rent out their own house. And if you look up on the ceiling, there are the shields and the crests of all of the knights of the British Kingdom.
Anyway, so Ed Sheeran's not a knight.
Not a knight.
We've clarified that. He definitely doesn't have a shield up there.
I thought
he might because everyone knows who he is. He's really famous.
Oh, he will be.
He was in that bad movie about the Beatles, which everyone loves, but it was such a piece of shit. Did we talk about that before? All my troubles seem so... Anyway, we were listening to him before we got started today, and I should stop singing on the podcast. It's a train wreck. We were talking about... We were listening to music before we get started, and you were saying you were playing some song, and it's like I
was not playing some song.
What was the song?
I was playing "Thinking Out Loud" by Ed Sheeran, which was 2017's biggest hit, I think.
Right, and you were saying, how do you not know this song? And I'm like, why would I know this song?
Because it's the wedding song. It's the song that everyone just put. You're a YouTube man. It was everywhere, all over YouTube. You could try and find me one singer on YouTube that does not have a cover.
Weddings on YouTube because I don't really watch vlogs.
Not vlogs, more sort of like I don't know. Like he pops into every feed, every news feed, everything.
No, he doesn't.
Does he not?
At least not in mine.
Well, he was the first in your feed right now. I didn't look for him.
Yeah, because this computer is not mine. This is just a blank computer that we just have for this.
Point proven.
Yeah, it's just... Well, okay, but that's the thing. I'm always signed into my own stuff. I'm never going to get recommended Ed Sheeran on Spotify, which is where I listen to most of my music, and I don't listen to radio because I don't listen to stuff like Ed Sheeran.
I think this would be a good sort of jump into your brain. What is your go-to Spotify sort of stuff? Or what do you listen to? I think you listen to smooth jazz.
I do like jazz. I don't listen to a lot of jazz.
Had you down for that?
Well, I mean, I don't think you'll find... It's like, I don't know any smooth jazz musicians. I'll often just throw on some smooth jazz. I can tell you what is in, because I've got it right open in front of me. Where is it? Liked songs. Come on, Spotify. Okay, so yeah, I've got some Doors. Or, do you know, or it's like, I discovered this band last year. It's this American band. They do kind of they do that famous song, We Can't Have Any Music. Because you remember when we played that one bit of Eels?
Yeah.
That whole episode got claimed by fucking Universal, some assholes. Josh Ritter, Jack's Mannequin, Pinback, Pixies, Smiths, Third Eye Blind.
Third
This
Eye
is
Blind?
kind
Like
of
a bit
stuff.
Third Eye Blind?
Yeah, dude.
So you're sort of
Third
like...
Eye Blind. I saw them live. I've seen like 3 bands live in my
Really?
life. I saw Third Eye Blind live when they were in London. It was great.
I want something
Something
else.
else to get me through this. Some kind of life. That was great.
That's a good tune.
We're gonna
Good
get
tune.
claimed on that for sure.
No, it wasn't recognizable.
It was not. Shall we give the people what they want? Let's do our first topic for today because I want to talk about pool tables on cruise ships. Just open up that link on the first one. This is great.
There we go.
It's like this is I'm pretty sure today I found out. No, interesting as the F word. Is the Reddit link. Is that working? Okay, so have a look at this and I'll describe what's going on. So it's a cruise ship it's a pool table on a cruise ship, which you naturally assume would be impossible, right? I mean, the bell balls are going to be going everywhere. But they have like a gyro. So what we're looking at is essentially some dudes wandering around a pool table, or a billiard table or whatever.
Wow.
And you can see how they're struggling to stand up because it's really pitching around. But the pool table stays perfectly level while everything else moves because it's got this crazy gyro which keeps everything in order.
That's actually very impressive. I'm impressed.
It's cool, right?
Yeah, because I don't know if you've ever been on like a really throwing boat.
Dude, have I ever? I get so sick.
Do you?
Yeah.
You just I know this is the one thing in life that I actually am not afraid or not embarrassed about taking pills for.
We talked about this before.
Yeah, seasickness pills. Take one in the morning, you'll be fine. It just saves the day in every situation.
I feel like they do make me feel like a piece of crap though. The pills, like they make me so tired. I take them on planes when I just want to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I don't know. I find them great sedatives. I'm not sure what's in it. It's a Kinadrel. I don't know what it is in British, but here in Czech it's called Kinadrel.
Okay. Well, who knows?
So basically, it's just a gyro underneath. Now I had heard that a cooler use, a more advanced use of this was on Air Force One, right? The president's plane, the president of the US, in case they need to have emergency surgery. So obviously on a plane, it's going to be jostling around and they'll have like a doctor. Yeah. So it'll be like, oh God, how did the president die? Well, he was having an emergency operation on the plane and we accidentally, cut some arteries.
Aorta.
It's like, what happened to his face? Oh, well, there was turbulence. So I heard... I not heard. I'm sure I read it somewhere. It wasn't just someone in the pub saying that they had a surgical suite on Air Force One that was stabilized like this pool table. So if they needed to, they get the president on there, and not the. Actually, it wasn't. It must not be just the surgical table. It would have to be the whole room, right? Because if the surgeon's got to be standing on it.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I swear I read this, but I couldn't find anywhere to back this up. I couldn't find any things about Air Force One, and normally my Google foo is strong, and I couldn't find anything about this. If someone can link, if someone's watching this or listening to this and thinking, oh yeah, I know what Simon's talking about, please link me to the Air Force One surgical suite thing because I'd like to know about this.
What I'm curious about is in this video.
Yeah. in the pool table video.
The pool table video. We can see that it's gyroscoping. It's sort of going up and down, left and right.
Yeah.
But there doesn't seem to be any extra space on any of the sides. So it's like...
What do you mean?
I mean, like, say for instance, like if you're reversing a car, if you're parking a car and you turn into the right, the back left bit will kind of kick out. And it's the same concept here that if one bit goes down, the other bit should sort of kick out, and it shouldn't really fit as it comes out. And sorry, I know this isn't a great bit for the podcast.
No. I just want to describe what we're looking at because I'm trying to see where you're coming from. So it's a regular pool table, basically. Instead of getting 4 legs, as you'd imagine on a regular pool table, it's kind of sitting on what looks like like a chest, a large wardrobe that's been tilted on its side that I would say is about 30 centimeters a foot in on each side from the size of the overall pool table, right?
Yeah.
I think it's just like there's a cushion under there. There's like 4 pistons or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just got enough wiggle room in that 30 centimeters.
You reckon, yeah?
I reckon.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously...
hang on.
Okay. Wait, what are you thinking?
I've seen this completely wrong.
Wait, what are you seeing?
I thought it was coming in and out the floor. I thought it was like
No,
bouncing from the bottom. No, it's underneath.
Yeah,
it's underneath it. Got
exactly.
it.
It's all built into that wardrobe-like thing.
That blew my mind.
Yeah. To be fair, I've cheated a little bit because I've done some looking into these devices. Yeah. Speaking of that, so load up. There's a link there to stable.no, which I guess is like a Norwegian company.
Bit back in here.
Yeah. So just grab that link. This is absolutely incredible. I just want to go through all of these because, well, first of all, do you know what a DJI Osmo is?
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Cool.
no.
Oh, okay.
What's a DJI Osmo?
It's like a consumer grade DJI are the company that make they're most famous for making drones, right?
Okay.
So you can I don't know, you fly up a drone and it has super steady cameras, which is incredible. I don't know. I have one of these drones.
does it use one of those? What are they called?
Gimbals.
The gimbal.
Exactly. Yeah. So they also have a handheld one that you can use. I have it over there. I should have set it up for this.
Oh.
So if we go to shoot like a little documentary or something, it's amazing for B-roll because you don't need to set up a tripod. You can wander along with it. Also, if you're doing like a run and gun, so if I'm like walking along saying something to the camera, you can just use this camera. Anyone without any skill can hold it, and it's just perfectly smooth, and it looks like you're on a dolly.
Fred, point and shoot.
Yeah, really. You can have anyone. Just press the big red button and you're good to go. But I thought that was cool. That kind of stabilization technology is cool.
Okay.
This is something for the ultra rich. Oh. So basically, it's a website called, anyone who's listening to this, definitely go check it out because if you're, or find the video of this.
Or if you're very rich, go check it out.
Yeah. It's one of those websites that doesn't even have prices. It's just like inquire. Because it's
like
going to be
it's like the what is it, Aston Martin stroller, like pushchair. I think is it Aston Martin or no? Who does the Phantom? Rolls-Royce. Rolls-Royce. They produce a baby stroller, a baby pushchair, and it's one of those. There's no price.
These things are.
You have to know someone to get one.
Even crap strollers pushchairs, so expensive. We got one middle of the road, fairly average. It was $1,000.
What?
Dude.
No.
You will find this out.
No.
Yes. Oh. I mean, it's a 3 thing. So you get a car seat, you get the thing for the small kid, and then you get the thing for the kid when it's a year old or 6 months old. Dude, this shit it's crazy.
I'm flying to Asia for £1,000. I'm going to Bali, and that cost £1,000.
Wait, your ticket was £1,000?
No,
that's pretty pricey.
There, back, and all the accommodation and all the food while we're there will be £1,000 in total.
Dude,
what?
Wait, that's a deal.
That
You're
is
there
a deal.
for 2 weeks?
Yeah,
with all the food. How did you find this?
Well, because food's really cheap in Indonesia, so I'll make sure it fits into that budget.
Yeah.
But the accommodation's really cheap. It's like 30, even nice places. Apart from the one, I think it's voted the best hotel in the world. Which is in Ubud in Bali.
Yeah.
And it's the Four Seasons. The Four Seasons. I was going to say the 5 seasons. The Four Seasons in Ubud in Bali is voted the most exotic hotel in the world.
That's great. Four Seasons is outrageous.
But yeah, no, everything's pretty much about $30-$50 like accommodation for the night there. So it's all fairly affordable. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no. Well, wait till you have a kid and you got to buy a pushchair, man. Good Lord.
Kiss goodbye to Bali.
It's insane. I was like, can we buy a used one? She's like, please, can we not buy a used one? And I'm like, oh, come on. 20,000 crowns, $1,000.
She's only going to grow out of it, isn't she?
Dude, this is the thing. I'm like, and we're like, oh yeah, well, we can use it for the next kid. And I'm like, oh, okay, well then it's secondhand, isn't it? So why can't we just get a secondhand one to begin with? Okay, let's get back to things that ultra rich people have rather than complaining about normal problems.
Normal people.
These guys don't have to think about this at all. Okay, essentially, what this website is, it makes stabilized things for super yachts. Or like, I guess cruise ships as well, but I don't know. I think it's more for just super yachts. Don't scroll down, man. I want to go through these. It's amazing. Stable bed. So it's just a bed that stabilizes. So if you're, I'd think I'm on my super yacht. I quite like being rocked to bed by the slow motion of waves. Nope, you can stabilize it. So you don't have to, you can have a gyroscopic bed that's nice and silent as well. Of course, the billiard table. Mm-hmm. We've seen that in action. And this is the one I saw inside. So yeah, it's just the cupboard underneath.
Oh, here it is. There's the pistons. Yeah. Very clever.
Dining table. This one's absolutely gold. Can you imagine how cool this would be? You're sitting on like some super yacht with Vladimir Putin or whatever. You're having some caviar.
10-foot waves outside.
Yeah, imagine there's a big-ass storm going on. Everything is jingling around, but all of your guests and you are sitting at a fully stabilized dining table.
I can just see the waiters flying side to side with the drinks, like desperately trying to get to. And then
get them on the table quickly.
On the table, it just sits there perfectly straight.
And all the waiters like throwing up and shit, and Putin's like, oh, more caviar. Scroll down. Stable sun, so a sun deck for your boat.
Okay. Nice,
which
clever.
seems so like this is bizarre. Go down.
That is sort of unneeded kind
because
of.
we're getting more unneeded.
Oh wow!
The stable wine cabinet.
I want one. I don't need one, but I want one.
Me too. Well, you might become a wine merchant someday.
We'll see. We'll see. Do like my wine.
Stable wine cellar.
I can have one of those.
Wine cellar. It's incredible. And that's a great looking wine cellar anyway, except it's fully stabilized. And I guess this is not, this is just to keep the wines in top-notch shape.
No, I don't mean to be. Yeah, I suppose because there's
you don't want it jostling
there's
around.
sediment in kind of old wines.
You want it settling.
I was gonna say because it's easy to like not smash the bottles. You could just pack them in a bit more. But
you don't want it jiggling around.
You don't want them jingling. So okay, clever.
I had a couple of nice bottles of wine in my house, and it was hot this summer. It was the hottest summer on record, and it didn't taste so good anymore.
No, really.
No, it's got too hot, too cold. Not great.
So you got to keep them in a temperature controlled room.
I drank them, but I've got to get a little wine. You can get little wine fridges.
Did you let them breathe
before I had them?
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, good. In a decanter. It's one of my favorite words. Decanter.
I don't have a decanter.
You can use anything. You just use like a big jug.
Yeah, but then I don't feel as cool as if I bought like a cool decanter.
With a long.
Oh, I do have a decanter.
A long spout.
I just don't have a proper decanter. I've got it's cool. It's but it's just for pouring the wine into, so it looks nice when you serve it. But I don't have like a proper wide bottomed.
Well, it's just to get some air to it, isn't it? You just need to get some air into it. But
have you been to George Prime Steak? It's a restaurant in town.
No.
Oh, dude, they do the full decanting of the wine. They've got they've got like a sommelier, and he'll come and he'll pour the wine out into a big thing, and he does all this show. It's great. Check it out. Then there's of course the stable gaming zone. Mm-hmm. So you can,
of course.
It's like a sort of pod thing that you go into, and you can play games and.
It looks like one
Twitch
of those
streamers are super rich these days, so they could need these on their yacht, so they can play games and pay for the yacht.
Is that a thing?
What?
Twitch streaming? Oh,
Dude,
are they the ones that do the games? So that
Ninja guy makes like $1 million a month or something insane.
What?
Yeah. Of course, stable galley, if your chef is very, in need of stability. Stable library, which seems just completely unnecessary.
That is totally unnecessary.
Yeah. It's also like, okay, so they've got a picture of old books, and I'm like, so is this like to protect the old books? Because if so, they're on a boat.
Yeah.
They're going to get pretty mildewy.
A bit wet.
Stable deck, and this is just a boring loss. Oh yes, stable bowling.
Stable bowling.
You have a bowling alley on your boat.
Do you know? I have to say, because I don't think it's actually that hard to do all this stability stuff.
But it's cool what they put it into.
This is an amazing niche that they found here.
Yeah,
that's a niche for all of our American listeners.
Oh, is that how it is? Is it niche in Britain and niche in America?
Niche.
I always wondered. I didn't really know. I thought it was just people.
You see everyone talking about marketing. They're talking about niche marketing.
Got to be a niche market.
Find your niche. Got to find your niche. But no, this is a really great niche. That if I had found this.
This would be your niche.
This would be my niche.
Yeah. Get yourself a super yacht. Yeah, and then stable gym, stable spa,
all of that jazz.
Stable comfort zone. So I guess that's a lounge. Stable interior. Yeah, okay.
They've got a lot of stable stuff.
Hang on. I don't know why they don't get it more exciting as you go down, because I almost missed this one. The stable drone landing pad.
Nice.
So if you want to take your drone off from your boat, but you're worried about it not being stable enough to take off your stabilized drone.
I've banned myself from flying drones. I flew my friend's drone.
Yeah.
And it crashed.
Oh yeah.
And I broke it.
Oh yeah. I've been through 3 of them myself.
Have you? What do you film? What do you do? Do you just fly them?
Yeah, you fly them. It's pretty cool, but I'm not very good at flying them, and I've crashed them a few times. But I got insurance on my new one, and I've never crashed it.
We got my wife's father a drone for his work. He builds bridges.
Oh yeah.
And he basically needs to sort of assess the bridge from a particular angle. And he started taking pictures of it and things like that. And one day he crashed it into the forest, and he had to go and search for it. And he was there looking for 3 hours.
Jesus.
It was in the undergrowth. It was really bad.
It doesn't survive, surely.
No, it did actually.
Oh, it did. Jesus,
but he's never flown it since. I think he got scared. There you go, stable operating theatre.
Oh yeah, I wanted it on Air Force One though.
No, oh well, never mind.
I want to know if that's the thing.
Well, listeners, let us know if you know anything about Air Force One. We want to know.
We've done enough about stabilized things on. I feel like we talk about mega yachts a lot on this podcast.
And Air Force One.
Have we? Oh yeah, we have. And planes.
Planes. So we're going to stay away from that from now on.
Yeah, well, let's talk about something completely different, because Nikola Tesla was really into pigeons. Have you heard about this at all? Nikola Tesla was a weird dude anyway, right?
Have we not talked about this?
Don't think so.
Oh.
Have we not? Have we?
don't know. It might have been on the.
Did I accidentally?
It might have been on the non-released.
It could have been on the unaired pilot. Maybe.
The unaired pilot, the never to be heard unaired pilot.
That's weird. I don't think it is because I've been through all the ones that Bruno's made for us.
Oh,
if it is on there, maybe we'll chop this out. Maybe we won't. This is generally none of this show has been edited so far. This is all. There are moments when I'm watching it and I'm like,
take that out.
We should take, and then I don't. And I'm like, well, I don't know. Like I'll say something that doesn't sound like good. Like people are gonna think I'm
doesn't make a very good impression of us.
But I want it to be raw. Like I quite like it raw. Just
raw.
So it's like the real us rather than the edited us. Like to be more funny, to be less uncouth. So Tesla was into pigeons, right? Is there a link for this one, or did I just make some notes? I'll bring up Tesla's Wikipedia page, so at least we got something to look at.
Wiki.
The links there, yeah. Although for some reason I see that's a link to a citation. So just we're gonna need to scroll. Yeah, I don't know why I just linked to a citation.
There we go.
I think I was following something to see if it was interesting.
He was a strange man, Nikola Tesla, wasn't he?
He was a super notable scientist, obviously. Especially gets a lot more recognition today. I think the internet kind of changed people's opinions on him.
And movies.
Yeah, for sure. What was that one?
The Illusionist? The Prestige. That was good. That was a good
I saw that again recently.
Yeah?
Really liked it. That's a great movie.
Stands up. It's a good movie.
Christian Bale and
Hugh Jackman.
That's right. Great stuff. So before we get into the birds, though, and the pigeons, I want to talk about how weird he was with hotels, and I don't understand him and hotels. So he'd essentially just go, like, you've probably heard of the Waldorf Astoria Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's fancy, but I assume it's fancy because I've heard of it. It's like Waldorf Astoria in New York. He lived there for 22 years, right? Jeez. So he just moved in, and you're like, oh, well, you assume he's rich. How about this? I got it here in my notes. He racked up a bill of $20,000. Which, that's a bill, right?
Can't help but think it wasn't entirely his fault.
Why?
Because the hotel should have kicked him out.
Okay, this is my whole point. But that £20,000 over 22 years doesn't sound too bad until you realise that with modern inflation, because that's not adjusted, he owed the Waldorf Astoria Hotel $290,000. $290,000. He had to sell. Have you heard of Wardenclyffe Tower? This is it's the big tower that he built. You see it when you see a picture of Tesla, you might see this tower next to him, which I think he was using. He was going to transmit electricity or something.
Wasn't he? Wireless electricity or something
which is
that.
Mentioned in the Prestige movie and stuff
he got
like
very
this.
close to doing it, but then no one could replicate his results.
Did he get close to doing it, though?
I don't know,
because it's been 100 years.
I suppose.
Anyway, so he had to sell this, not the technology, but just this tower and the land and the stuff. Wait, did he sell it? No, yeah, I thought he gave it to the Waldorf Astoria, but he didn't. He had to sell it and then do this. But my question about all of this, really, how does the Waldorf Astoria let this happen? Whenever I go to a hotel, the first thing they do is like, hi, welcome to the hotel, passport, credit card. Yep. And then it's like, okay, we're just going to do a pre-authorization on your credit card, depending on how fancy the hotel is, from like, 50 quid to hundreds of pounds. In case I absolutely raid the shit out of the minibar. And we've talked before.
Bloody expensive, those minibars.
Yeah, minibars are outrageous.
$15 for a beer.
Here I found in smaller hotels, like if I go out into the country here, it's not too bad.
No.
Like I'd say it's only 50% more than the price you pay at the pub.
Yeah, it's because people here in the Czech Republic just won't pay it.
Yeah, otherwise,
they just won't pay it.
I'm with them. I still won't. If it's for, I would no. The only time I use the minibar is when I've checked to make sure it doesn't have that weird sensor pad. Those ones where have you done this? Stayed at a hotel where it's like they have the things, you take it out and it registers it automatically.
No, I'm too cheap. I never take out the minibars.
No, this is only I don't think I ever pay for hotels like this. It's only when I'm on business or something.
Okay,
but although I went to a conference and it's like also if you just go into someone else's room. And if you hit it really hard, all of the stuff shakes around, and so it registers.
Like a massive bill.
It registers it all as a sale, so it's a massive hassle. Just so, yeah.
Do you know? Quick thing about hotel rooms. All right, I think this is basically common knowledge, but I'm not sure how many people actually know. And it's that the safes which are used in hotel rooms typically always come with a standard opening code.
They have to,
which is 00000, and the 95% of all hotels, maybe more, don't change this. So
is that right?
And I've tested it in the last 3 hotels I've been in, and all of them have opened on 00000.
That's crazy.
So just be aware, people. if you're hiding your things, if you're putting them away, thinking they're safe and away from the mitts of thieves,
in as safe as you think they would be.
Just ensure that the code has been changed. You never know.
Wow, that's intense.
Oh
So what's going on? How do you stay? I mean, is this just a thing of the past where they didn't have credit cards and stuff? Because I don't know. Surely they've got to secure And today we're way more traceable. In the past, you could just rack up that bill and disappear to wherever.
That's true. That was the good old days, wasn't it?
Although he's Tesla, so he's quite famous.
Well, this is kind of what I'm thinking, is that he's famous. So they're probably thinking, he'll pay it off. He's famous.
Okay, either way. But anyway, and then
no one will ever know.
He bounces around to a whole bunch of other hotels and racks up more bills.
But on what money?
Well, no, he's like, I'm Tesla, I'll stay here, and then the bill just racks up. I looked into this. I couldn't find any. It just seems like he could just rack up bills and all of this. So he racks up another 10K at another hotel, which is about $150,000 in today's money. And he told them he had a death ray. He's like, I've got a death ray. It's in this box. It's a new invention. And if you write off my bill, I will just give you this invention.
No.
Yeah, it's totally fake. Didn't work. And he just left.
I mean, it's a good effort, though.
Suffice to say, Tesla's Wikipedia page is well worth a read. I wanted to do it about the birds, then I just could not mention this because it's so good.
That's exactly the same sort of thing as walking in with your hand up your shirt and going, let me out, give me your money.
Right. Yeah,
I've got a death ray.
Maybe that's what he did. No, sorry, he wasn't holding them up.
Oh
no, he wasn't threatening them with the death ray.
He was offering them intellectual
he was
property.
just like, yeah. He's like, I'll just give you the death ray.
Oh. All right.
But it wasn't a real death ray.
Oh.
It didn't work.
And what did they... Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, did you reckon they figured him out? They sussed him?
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Maybe they just... I don't know. It's a bit of a mystery. There's not a ton of stuff about this. I just found it interesting. Let's talk about the birds.
Yeah.
So basically, Tesla got really into it. He'd go to the park, he'd feed the birds, and then he'd start taking home the ones that were sick. So, I don't know. I have to say, I understand. You walk around, you see the pigeons, and it's that one's wing's broken. It's going to die.
This one's got 2 toes. This one's got 1
Yeah,
toe. This one has a stub.
Yeah. The
So
number
many
of
stubby
pigeons. It's not nice. So he'd take them back to his hotel room, the fancy ass Waldorf Astoria or wherever he was staying, and he'd start fixing them up. Not just this.
Prosthetic limbs and robot pigeons. Or
how about this? He spent $2,000, which is $29,000 in today's money, building a machine that would fix a pigeon that had a broken something. I don't know. Oh yeah, its body was broken. Don't know what that means, but in different ways. And so this thing that would suspend it so its wings and stuff would heal. I'm like, dude, that's expensive. Here's a great quote that's really weird. I've been feeding pigeons, thousands of them. Yes. But there was one.
You poor man.
Yeah. A beautiful bird. Ooh. Pure white, with light grey tips on its wings.
It was a dove.
That one was different. And everyone's like, yeah, Tesla is kind of a cross between a rock pigeon and a dove. It was a female. I had only to wish and call her, and she would come flying to me. I love that pigeon, as a man loves a woman, and she loved me. As long as I had her, there was a purpose to my life. Slightly weird. It's a bit more creepy because I put it in a real weird, creepy voice. But, dude, the pigeon that you love like a woman, it's a bit weird, isn't it?
She did things to me.
Yeah.
She touches me in a
She's
way no other
sexually
woman
satisfied.
possibly.
It's like, I think you raped a pigeon.
Oh, that's
Nikola.
terrible. That's terrible. Nikola Tesla.
Nikola Tesla, pigeon rapist.
Oh, that's put a dark shine on him, hasn't it?
I
That's a
think...
light.
I assume in a platonic way. I don't think he was really a
Yeah.
Tesla was a pigeon rapist.
I think typically in the past people just were more innocent. I think they said things like this, and there wasn't
the
malicious...
internet ready to absolutely rip them to pieces.
Exactly,
for it,
there wasn't that malicious tone.
Do.
Yeah. You go, I love you with all my heart and everything like that to a bird, and then people are just like, all right, I'm gonna, I don't know, paint a watercolor about it or something like that.
I'm gonna write some beautiful words and think about it for a long time, and then be,
not get trolled and send hate.
He also, here's a bonus fact. I just threw this in just before we got started today. I was reading through my notes and I was like, okay, let's see what else we got. Because I wanted to, I was into Tesla. He once helped Mark Twain take a dump.
How?
There's this.
Did he massage his belly?
Don't open the link to it, but this is from a website called... No, it's just because it's just not worth the time. I've got a little quote here. It's from a website called alvexo.com. 10 fun facts about Nikola Tesla. Sounds like something I'd make, to be honest, on one of my channels. Tesla was constantly looking for more efficient energy sources and built a high-frequency oscillator known as an earthquake machine, which shook his Manhattan neighborhood when he conducted experiments. That feels like a bit of hyperbole. Tesla invited his friend Mark Twain, who was known to have constipation issues, to stand on the machine's platform while he turned it on. Within minutes, Twain was running to the bathroom to relieve the problem. This does sound like a bit of an urban legend, and I didn't do any sort of background check on this source, but
I think so.
Well, the same thing says his earthquake machine shook his Manhattan neighborhood, and I'm like, no, it didn't. All right, no, it didn't.
It might have made the windows tremor on the...
It's like, come on. So I'm already doubting. I just like the story, to be honest.
Well, I don't know. Did you ever... I can't think where it was. Was it in the Millennium Dome? Where they...
I went to the Millennium Dome.
Yeah, back in 2000, yeah. And I think they had a...
For those who don't know, it was a giant exposition... Exposition?
Exposition?
Expo, thank you.
Yeah.
To celebrate the new millennium, I think the Labour Party were kind of spearheading this thing, weren't they? And then they were like, let's get this built, and it was kind of a massive failure.
That was Blair
I thought
time,
it was cool, though.
I thought it was cool. It's now the O2, isn't it? So
it's giant stadium.
Yeah, big stadium. But there used to be a Japanese simulator, like earthquake simulator. I think it was there.
This is in the Natural History Museum. And it's still there.
Is it there?
Yeah, it's cool. I went to the Natural History Museum a few years ago, actually, and I went on this thing. And since the first time since I was a kid, it's a lot more... It's less cool now because it all looks really kind of old and less good. And you're like, oh, okay. And I'm also don't have the awe of a child. But it's like, it's a Japanese shop. So you go in and there's like, dong, 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 and Japanese music and, sounds of Asia. It sounds Japanese. There's all these Japanese foods on the thing, and then suddenly, and you feel like the simulated earthquake. It's pretty cool.
Cool, nice.
But this is good because it was in the Millennium Dome. Now you can just go there to see Adele, but you can go to the Natural History Museum for free, and ride the earthquake simulator.
I think we do it often, but if you're ever in London, go use the hotels. Not hotels, the
free museums.
Free museums. It's the best thing to do.
You ready for another topic?
Let's do another topic. What have we got?
I want to talk about the military invention. Or do you want to do one? What's the time? Because I don't want to. I feel like last time I talked all over you.
No, you didn't.
Okay, I'll do one more.
You do one more, and then we'll go to one of mine.
Okay, cool. I want to talk about the military inventing a jetpack.
Cool.
And dude, by the way, I didn't look at yours ahead of time. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I know I say this every time.
I kind of actually rather that you wouldn't, because then we get your
raw
actual
opinion
and reaction to it.
But then I can't do loads of research ahead of time and then pretend that I know it
and
all.
Then make me look bad because I do less research than you. That's
true.
No.
That's true. You're onto my master plan. Military invented a jetpack. Okay, so this one is definitely worth opening the link on. Open that rocket belt. See, even in the little preview picture, it looks cool.
Rocket belt.
Anyone? I know we're an audio podcast, but okay. So essentially, this is an actual jetpack which the military made, and we're looking at. I want to describe it as if you imagine the jetpack from. You must have played the Grand Theft Auto games, right?
Yeah.
Or James Bond's. Anything like this. This is exactly what you would imagine a jetpack like, and it's so super cool. And also from GTA San Andreas. Did you play that game?
Yes, I did.
And there's the jetpack. It looks exactly like that. I mean, we'll get into why it's crap.
Do you know, I've got a bit of a thing about this. I'm surprised the jetpack has not been created better and quicker and more controllable.
Why do you think it should be?
Because, all right, I'll tell you why. Because I used to be a gardener. And being a gardener...
Dude, I feel like you've done every job in the world.
No. Being a gardener, I used to use a blower, a big backpack blower.
Okay.
And it was enough. If you had two of them, you could very easily have pretty much lifted yourself off the floor. Like it's proper.
Yeah, but they're plugged in.
Strong stuff. No, they're not. They're petrol blown, and they blow for like 40 minutes. So if you were to tighten up the output, and so that it's a thinner tube, so that it's moving faster down, like a kind of jet style, if you know what I mean, then you could even do a little like injection in like fuel injection there, and then set it alight, and you get a nice little flame.
Have you heard of the YouTuber Colin Firth?
Colin Firth?
No, Colin. Is it Fuse or Furs? I can't remember.
I'm not sure. No, maybe.
He makes these.
Okay.
Like, he's the kind of dude who he will hear about this and he'll go out to his garage and he'll just make it.
Colin, mate, come do this.
It's crazy. I love. He's like been doing this for 10 years or something, and he's made all these crazy things. Just load up his YouTube channel, because he's pretty amazing.
Are we going to get blocked for going into his YouTube? Not blocked.
No. He's a YouTuber. You don't get jammed. It's all the stupid
pushing YouTube,
music companies and stuff. YouTubers are like, thank you for... Like, if someone shows this and takes this clip and puts it on their channel saying, like, I saw this, I'd be like, thank you. I appreciate it. This guy, Colin Furs.
All right.
Yeah, so he makes like a spinning belt of knives. He makes a homemade hover bike.
It's quite impressive. You see? Okay, homemade hover bike. That is exactly what we're talking about. That properly hovers. That is off the floor, and that will be made out of blowers. Like, I'm almost 100% certain. Here you go. He's got an engine in a bumper car which uses, it looks like it's sorry, no, that's not, but like hovercrafts.
Yeah.
Same concept. Except hovercrafts use like an outside belt bit, and instead of focusing it all on one point. So if you were to have 4 points that you have this mega strong blower pointing down with maybe a bit of injection fuel, bang, shub, bada boom, shada bing, and you are flying on a jetpack. I think it's easy. I think it's a letdown that it has not been done quicker. It's a letdown that it's not been done faster. And
look, Sam,
makes me angry.
You've got it all done in your head. It's not like we're talking about something that can't be made. You should start your own Colin
jet cart. Look at that jet cart. Just imagine that. Okay, so
yeah, but it's touching the ground.
Yes, but if it was inverted so that the jet was facing
then it
downwards,
would still just touch the ground. It wouldn't fly.
Yes, it would.
I just don't think the energy's there. Look, if you could just go to like the DIY store and buy 2 leaf blowers and a piece of plywood and strap them to your back and set them off, I don't think that's going to work. Look, I don't know how much these things are. But if you want to go and do this, I'll put some budget into that.
Okay.
If it's less than $1,000, I'll give you $1,000 to go and build that shit.
Oh my god!
Because I think it would be great pod.
I will look into it.
But you gotta bring me if you can bring me a thing that says I think this will work, and you want to go and risk your life doing this, I'll give you some money to go and build that shit for the podcast. And then we could go do a live.
I'll look into it. We'll do a live thing with your gimbal.
All right, that'll be fun. Cool. Okay, good. I'm excited now.
I've become a new handyman. This is my thing at the moment.
Yeah.
Did I tell you I fixed
a
microwave?
Just buy them. You ordered parts from China.
No, okay. I ordered parts from China for $3, which the same part for that actual company. If you go onto that company's website, they I'm not going to mention the company because they're thieves. But if you go onto their website, the same motor that I ordered for $2 is €35.
If it's fact, you can mention the company.
$35. I can't remember the company's name. They're Euro something. But I went on. I ordered this thing from China. It came 3 weeks. Beautiful. I had to flip the microwave upside down. I had to cut into it. I had to take out the motor.
Just buy a microwave. It's like £20.
It's not. This is a good microwave.
Hang on. And just as an extra point, you haven't even said this isn't your flat. It's not your microwave.
No,
it's your landlord's microwave.
But I was like, there's no point in buying a 20, 30, 50 pound microwave if I can just flip it over and replace the motor. All
right.
I'm firmly of the opinion that we should be reusing and fixing stuff.
I'm firmly of the opinion of too much time. I stayed in an Airbnb in London. It was one of those buildings, I feel this way about new builds generally.
Okay.
It's a big apartment building. It was close to Excel Centre. I was there for a conference. And it was one of these new builds, but it was about 15 years old. So it kind of looks okay. It would have looked really cool 15 years ago, sort of glass and balconies and stuff. But it was one of those places, like you go in and there's like 2 lifts and one lift just isn't working. And I was there for a week. And I just thought, I'm sure they're fixing it. And then you got the distinct impression that lift has just been given up on. Like, there's just one lift serving the whole building now. And this is a nice, it's a nice part of town. It seems like the building's nice. I'm sure this place cost a fortune, but nothing works anymore. And you go into the kitchen and it's all these built-in appliances like you're describing. And it's like, so there's a built-in coffee maker and there's a built-in microwave, and sitting on the counter is a microwave and a coffee maker because they broke and you can't really... no one repairs stuff. So, to your point, I think we should. But I'm not going to. I'm going to buy a new one because I don't have time to
waste
ordering parts from China and
I
quite
enjoyed it. I did stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning doing it, but it was...
Dude, I can't stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning. I got work and shit. You got work.
Yeah.
You got a job.
It was Christmas. It was Christmas. I had time.
No, to be fair, I'm just being a dick. I know this is. I would probably enjoy this myself, but yeah, and you can't pair all this stuff, and so it's just anyway.
Anyway,
I want to talk about jetpacks.
Jetpacks. Let's go for jetpacks. Sorry,
okay, we haven't even got like one line into this.
No, we haven't. All right,
but we are going to cut. If you can do those leaf blurs, I don't think so. Prove me wrong. Colin Furs me wrong. Okay, so I think jetpacks are cool. We're on the same page about that. I don't know why I needed to put that in my notes.
No, I don't think anyone.
No one's going to disagree. Yeah. They were originally made back in the 1960s, right? And they were fueled with hydrogen peroxide. What do you know hydrogen peroxide for? Teenagers dyeing their hair.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
you could put cool like, you know,
tips,
frosted tips. The most 90s.
I think I could use some frosted tips. I used to be properly blonde.
What?
Yeah, properly blonde.
Do you go blonde when you go in the sun?
I actually don't. It's really annoying. My dark-haired older brother, who had like way darker hair than me as a kid, goes blonde in the sun.
What?
And I don't anymore. I think I've just been away from the sun for so long.
Wow.
Terrible.
It's
quite sad, actually.
It's kind of strange. So it's fueled with like super concentrated hydrogen peroxide, which I was trying to read about it, but it was really chemistry-ish, and I got bored. But apparently there's some like unstable bond, which makes it really good for being like a dense fuel or something, whatever. But as you can imagine, there were a few problems. Back in the day, right? Because now we've got they had gyroscopes and stuff, but like computer stabilization and things like this. You know, like Iron Man and stuff. The computer does most of the work. Like when it's not real.
Keep things steady
But yeah, exactly. So, or the Eurofighter Typhoon is a great example of this. It's a fighter jet that is designed to be unstable, and then so it can be super maneuverable. And then there's a powerful computer on board which does like thousands of calculations a second, just keeping the thing stable. If the computer fails, it's going to fall out of the sky. So it's like designed to be unstable, and the computer stabilizes it. But back in the 1960s, we couldn't really go put a supercomputer into a jetpack because, well, it's the 1960s. Also, dude, just go back to the doc. I didn't expect us to go off topic on this one so much, so I actually
Have you actually forgotten what's going on?
No. I actually put in a specific off-topic thing because it's glorious. Have you seen this?
Which one? Where are we?
The Human Steadicam. It's in capital letters.
Okay.
Oh, I forget this is a audio podcast as well. But just load up this. It's an amazing GIF. It's basically a dude who's been described as a human Steadicam, and what we're looking at is just a guy who manages to keep his head perfectly still and can move around his body. And so his head in the frame is still, and he can he's moving around his hands, he's moving around his body.
I don't think I want to watch this. It makes me feel a bit
super
sick.
creepy, right?
That's I mean, a great bit of dancing, but that's creepy.
It's pretty impressive, right? And he just has this kind of like scary or like completely neutral expression, I guess because he's concentrating quite a lot.
That's horrible. I mean, very impressive. Right, so
it's impressive though, right? I think about this way too much. I saw this years ago. The number of times I think about the Human Steadicam. I don't know why. Do you ever have those things that you're like, oh yeah, I don't know why that comes up in my life so much?
It just like pops up again.
Yeah, it just pops up in my mind. The Human Steadicam, like super weird. I don't know. It's like I'd like to learn how to do that someday.
You're halfway there.
It's a completely pointless skill.
God.
Like juggling.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go back to jetpacks. So eventually it was really hard to learn how to fly them because there was no stabilization. One dude got really good at it. It's not like Iron Man at all though. And he the military kind of got into it, and they did a test. It was the 60s, President Kennedy. And they do this thing, like they go to the White House and they show it off, and he does like something like he jumps from one place to this other place on the White House lawn. He goes over a river onto the White House lawn or something. It was pretty cool. But the problem was, which I think is going to be a problem with your wind blower machine, is even this thing, it could only do 21 seconds. That was the longest flight that they ever did. Because in order to keep this man in the air, that 21 seconds would use 5 gallons of fuel, which is 19 litres. So basically, it's using about 1 litre of hydrogen peroxide fuel per second.
Oof, that's a lot.
Yeah, because it takes a lot of energy to keep someone in the air.
And I don't suppose hydrogen peroxide is cheap.
I don't know.
I don't know, but I don't
There's a
suppose
super concentrated version. I mean, they're probably not just going to like the chemists or the drugstore and buying like hydrogen peroxide from making frosted tips.
I've always found it's incredible how much fuel is used like with flight. like so planes and things like that, because
Dude,
you don't
it's
realize
crazy.
like all the wings and everything are all just full of fuel because they need to put it somewhere, and it's there's so much fuel gets burned, but actually there must be so much fuel on the plane.
Yeah. All the wings, like you say, the wings are full of fuel.
Full of fuel.
Yeah, and they have to dump it out sometimes.
Yeah.
If like they have to, is it if they land early or I don't know.
I think it's if they
Or they burn it off. Normally they'll burn it off, and then sometimes if they need to get rid of it quickly, they'll dump it.
or is it they're calculating going, we don't have enough fuel to get this weight to a destination, so we have to get rid of some fuel.
No, I think it's like, okay, so we'll carry excess fuel in case there's some sort of emergency, and then if they have to land early, they don't want to land with fuel in the plane or something.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't speak. I haven't looked into this at all. So maybe we can add
Pilot
that
Simon.
to,
Pilot Simon. Do we have a pilot listening? If there's a pilot listening,
let us know.
Let us know.
We can talk about that in the future. Why? I'll just make a note. Why do planes dump fuel? Okay. Then, okay, there were lots of cool demonstrations, by the way. So just go back to the
And did these
dock.
demonstrations work? Were they successful?
Check it out, dude. And this continued for a while. Just while you're loading that up, I'll say that they basically that the military didn't use it, but they'd use it for like cool shows and stuff and sporting events and all this sort of stuff. Just turn the volume down on that because I'm feeling it's going to deafen us.
Right.
Yeah, not all the way down though.
That
Just-
is so.
Films and television shows was the Bell Textron rocket
That's
belt.
quite impressive.
cool, right? So there's just dudes flying around.
Of course, it's there for the football.
And
Or the
later versions of
yeah, the
flying
football.
machine are thrust-driven devices that can literally make a person fly.
I think if I had to pick a favourite thing that is believable, that I would love to have, I think it's the rocket pack on the
Okay,
back.
just stop this. So
Isn't
no
that
one-
interesting that they? Oh, okay.
Yes.
007. I was
Yeah.
gonna say, isn't it interesting that they're using it at like an English person in a very very American documentary about jetpacks?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Wait, was he English?
Well, he's English.
Go back.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure
Of
about
course
that.
he was.
It's believable, that I would love to have.
No, oh no, sorry. I thought you meant the
Believable
narrator.
that I'd love to have.
No, I thought you meant the narrator.
No.
The guy being interviewed. Excuse me.
You
It
alright?
looks pretty cool. Yeah, no, I'm good.
Frog in the throat.
Frog in the throat. Just too much talking, man.
Rabbit.
Which is weird because it's what I do for a living. Okay, so skip down because it gets absurd. This is the final part of Jetpacks.
Well,
Enough Jetpack banter. No, don't close it. The final section. The R800 rocket belt. Zoom in on that. There it is.
yeah,
Just up,
there,
up. No. There. See RB2000
okay, here we go.
rocket belt. Zoom
Okay.
in on that. So basically, I read this, so I'll just summarize it. Is some guys wanted to reinvent, they wanted to bring back the rocket belt, which is what this thing was called, but it's, we know it's a jetpack. They're like, let's bring it back. So these dudes get together. One's like a businessman, one's an engineer. And then one of them runs off with a jetpack. So he runs off and he hides it somewhere.
Why didn't he fly off?
Because he could only go for 20 seconds. They're like, there he is, get him!
Get him.
So they fly off with this. He doesn't fly off, bloody hell. He runs off with this thing. And then, so the guy sues him, takes him to court and be like, my business partner ran off with this invention we made, this jetpack. And the courts are like, give it back to him. And he's like, no. So the guy kidnaps him, locks him in a box for 7 days.
What?
Yeah. So he fully kidnaps him.
Who's now got the legal upper ground?
The other guy, because that guy goes to prison for like 7 years.
What? Gee, that's pretty
Was
bad,
it
isn't
7 years? It was a really long time. 8 years.
8 years.
He served an 8-year sentence. Stanley was arrested in 2002 for the kidnapping and served an 8-year sentence. The rocket belt was never found. And then they made a movie about it, which I thought sounded pretty good, but it gets 20% on Rotten Tomatoes, so then I thought I'd give it a miss. But it's got that Paul Giamatti guy from Billions in, who I think is fantastic.
He is fantastic. He's a very underrated actor. He's the kind of person that he's in loads of stuff, but he's never the guy. He's never
the guy in Billions.
Is he the guy? Oh, I've not even watched Billions. I hear Billions is good though.
Yeah,
I've heard
and
Billions. Handmaid's Tale is very good apparently at the moment.
Handmaid's Tale's good. Dude, Handmaid's Tale got way too intense. I stopped watching Handmaid's Tale because I couldn't take it.
I read the book. I've not seen the show at all.
Yeah, it's good.
The book was good.
I haven't read the
Good
book. 'cause I'm
Margaret
not
Atwood.
cultured. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, so I haven't seen the movie, but I'd see it because that guy's in it maybe.
So that's pretty intense. So moral of the story: don't kidnap anyone.
Dude, yeah, don't
Like,
kidnap people.
Doesn't matter how much
Yeah.
you hate them, how much they've stolen from you.
Don't be thinking that just because the court said you could take the rocket belt back, don't kidnap someone and lock them in a box. Although 8 years does feel pretty intense.
Does it?
No, you're right. Let's move on. Do one for me. My voice is clearly suffering, so entertain me, Sam.
Oh, yeah. This is quite cool. I came across this. I thought you might like this.
Okay, tell me.
So there was back in the 1500s, 1560s. Sorry, we're doing this. Is like a massive jump of subjects.
No, that's cool.
All right,
I like it. How are we doing for time, by the way?
We've got time. Don't
Tell
worry.
me the time. How are we doing?
Just 52.
Oh, great. Okay,
52.
Yeah,
this is nice. It'll be a little bit about this, and then we'll finish up. We'll let the people go.
Smashing.
So basically, there was an event of Renaissance art, which turned out to be the biggest battle in the Renaissance art history. Like Vasari redecorated the council hall of the Plaza Vecchio in Florence.
Yeah.
And he employed a old Leonardo da Vinci to paint a wall directly next to Michelangelo.
Oh no.
Yeah,
this
actually happened. And so it included, so they had to paint two, hang on, I've got it written here. What did they paint? So Leonardo was commissioned to paint a vast wall painting of the Battle of Anghiari, a scene from the 15th century wars between Florence and Milan.
Yeah.
And then in December, in December 1504, a younger Florentine was commissioned to paint the Battle of Cascina, which took place between Florence and Pisa in the 14th century.
Okay.
So basically they were in competition with each other, and so you had like a Leonardo da Vinci painting, like fresco, right next to the Michelangelo one. And I'm not sure now that I'm reading this again.
How old was Michelangelo?
I'm just about
I'd love to know, like if he was.
So hang on, Vasari is explicit that this was a contest. He emphatically says that Michelangelo was commissioned in competition with Leonardo, and with competition came paranoia. Hatred. So I'm actually wondering if I have sort of misunderstood it. I'm hoping I haven't. That they were literally stood side by side.
Oh, they well could be. Sometimes like this,
Here you go.
The fact that I didn't even know Michelangelo and Da Vinci were alive at the same time is like, okay, Da Vinci was born 1452. Michelangelo was born 1475. So it's a good 23 years younger.
Here you go. At the beginning of the 16th century, in the same room, side by side, on the same wall, Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo Buonarroti were hired to paint vast battle scenes in direct competition with each other. I'm just like, now in this day and age, like back then, they were sort of like Leonardo da Vinci was obviously very established. Michelangelo mostly did statues, but this was his first sort of
up and coming
big. Yeah, he was up and coming. It was.
I feel there's a good movie in here somewhere. Your dad could write it.
Well, I'm amazed. Oh, he could. I'm amazed this hasn't been done as a movie actually, because like it is. You can now there's such well-known names and such well-known characters, but back then it would have been like a battle of. I don't know. I'm just amazed this isn't a more known event in terms of.
Yeah.
No one's heard of this.
I love it when you have these historical figures, and there's two people, and you've heard of both of them, both super famous in their own right. Like the story we did a couple of stories ago with Mark Twain and Nikola Tesla.
Yeah.
It's a bit different because he just solved his constipation, but like Tesla
gave him the runs.
Right, yeah. But I like it when you have these like I've actually got, I don't know, I think it's next episode actually. Oh yeah, it'll definitely be next episode with Charlie Chaplin and his run-in with J.D. Salinger.
Ooh,
There's these cool. I love it when these things cross over. Theirs is less friendly, as we'll see. Charlie Chaplin, a bit of a dick.
What I want to know
next week.
What I want to know is whose side would you have been on, Leonardo da Vinci or Michelangelo? Who did you cheer for?
I like Da Vinci.
I like Da Vinci.
Da Vinci.
I like Da Vinci. I mean, apparently he was very, very flamboyant. He was, he was a very, very openly gay homosexual, which at that time was a pretty rare thing. Yeah, I mean, wow. I'm sure you do know that he made primitive designs for a helicopter.
He did. I did know that.
Flushing toilet.
Yep.
All those sorts of things. He was an incredible inventor, incredible artist.
I went to a great Exhibition, thank you. Here there was a touring Da Vinci exhibition, and they had taken a bunch of his drawings and they had assembled the various things from them. It was cool. They didn't work, but
that is he didn't
create a flying machine, but it was cool to see. He's on the right track.
He was definitely close. Yeah, it is really interesting. I love seeing sort of. What's the word? Sort of artwork or pieces of drawing or writings from the olden days.
Yeah.
I went to, where was I? It was in Windsor Castle actually. They had for a while, the works of Shakespeare, and the actual original
Wow.
works of Shakespeare there, like
rad.
that they've got the property of the castle.
I love this.
Uh,
I love old maps as well.
Oh, me too.
Got a lot
This
of
is
old.
my this is
old
my
maps.
thing. If I had the disposable income, that's what I collect. Like that's my collectible, my collector's thing. I would collect old seafaring maps and things like that.
Oh, that's cool.
I love that.
I have an old
Uncharted things.
19th century map of Prague up in my bathroom
Ooh.
at home, which is
How does it compare? Is it pretty much the same?
well, the part of town we're in now, yeah, it's pretty much the same. Like, and then, but obviously it's smaller. And then actually, I don't know about this building. This probably wasn't here. This building's, I guess, 100 years old. Not, and the map's like 120. But my apartment building's on there, which was cool. And then
That is cool.
Yeah, but it's much closer to the edge of town. Now it would be regarded as in the center of town, and now that was like, oh yeah, it's near the city wall. Obviously, the city wall wasn't in use back then.
Just
but-
quickly jumping back to art.
Yeah, sorry.
I've got a quick fact. A quick fact to throw in. So Van Gogh's Olive Trees. Do you know the art piece?
No.
All right, it's one of his very famous art pieces.
You wanna
the
bring it
Olive
up?
Trees. Yeah, I can bring it up. Hang on. Here we go.
It's definitely not copyrighted anymore. So
Van Gogh Olive Trees.
I might recognize it.
That's live trees. Hang on. Olive.
Just by the way, all the Americans are going to be like, "Who's Van Gogh?"
Van Gogh.
Van Gogh.
Van Gogh. This one here. So here
All
you
the
go.
Americans ever go at me for pronouncing Nike. Oh, you're British. Back me up. How do we say Nike?
Nike.
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 Yeah, it's Nike.
and Adidas.
Oh, how else do you say that?
They say Adidas.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Adidas.
Americans say Adidas.
Nike, but it is Nike, you know, because it was named after the temple of Nike.
I do know that. And
So we get it wrong,
and-
but I can't say Nike because then everyone in the UK would be like, "Stop pandering to Americans."
and the same Porsche. Porsche is Porsche.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, Porsche
Is that the
it's
correct pronunciation?
German, so it's Porsche.
Oh,
Yeah. So just a nice little quick fact.
I don't know this Van Gogh.
Oh, so this
Van
okay.
Gogh.
This Van Gogh.
Van Gogh.
So
Dude, great Van Gogh. That's rad, brah.
the olive trees. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm going to calm you down now. Calm down.
Sorry.
No. So
Getting carried away.
Olive Trees by Vincent Van Gogh
You set me off again.
contains a dead grasshopper embedded in the paint.
Oh,
So a real
is this for the color?
live dead grass. No, it's not like ground up. It's in there, like placed in there and painted in.
Oh,
So just
that's awesome.
nice little quick fact.
What?
There you go.
That's cool. I thought it must be something to do with the colors. I did a little documentary about the color of different paints, and back in the day, like when the Dutch masters were doing their, hyper-realistic paintings, they needed different colors, and one of their reds they got from like ground-up beetles from some Spanish island somewhere.
This is actually when I was I went to Peru and in Cusco.
Of course you did.
No.
Been
In
everywhere.
Cusco. Stop that. In Cusco, there's a place you can go called Sexy Huaman.
Sexy Huaman.
Sexy Huaman.
Okay.
And
How's that spelled?
no idea. It's all
S-E-X-Y.
spelled. It's all spelled in Inca.
Oh.
But not Inca. Mine. Inca. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Dude,
I can't
I'm not
remember.
going to be able to correct you.
Yeah, and basically they demonstrate how they color the what's the llama? What's the little llama called? The alpaca. The alpaca fur.
How would I know this?
Well, come on,
What's the little llama called from Peru?
alpaca.
I've heard of alpaca.
So there's the alpaca. Is it the alpaca? I think it is alpaca.
Dude, I don't know.
All right. So
I'm
anyway,
not-
anyway, alpaca. And the first time you shave an alpaca's fur, it's really, really, really soft, mega soft.
Okay.
And it's very, very expensive. And there's a thing where they show you if you squash bugs in with a particular sort of plant, that's how they get all the colors. So different bugs have different colors that they make. So some of them are red, some of them are blue, purple.
Wait, what's that got to do with the fur?
It colors it. That's how they paint it. They color it that way.
Ah, wait. So they've got the fur of the alpaca, and then they want to make it
Then they
like red or something.
Exactly.
Ah, okay.
So they use the bugs, which is exactly what you're saying. But my understanding of this particular situation with the olive trees of Van Gogh is that it's embedded in. It's like been placed in. So yeah. I mean, that's just a quick fact.
Love it.
I'm afraid I don't have more for you than that.
No, that's enough. I mean, what else do you want? I don't need the grasshopper's life history. Should we? Should
Should we wrap this up?
I guess we're about an hour, and I think that's a pretty good length for an episode.
We're at 101. This has been Simon Whistler
This
101
has been a great length for an episode.
with Sam Myers.
Absolutely nailed it, dude.
Smashed it.
Smash it and smash that like button if you're watching this on YouTube.
Hey.
Smash that review which by that I mean go sign up for iTunes, get an account, make sure it's, figure out the password, go in, sign up, rate us. It's complicated, but we really do appreciate it when you leave us a review. It does make a difference. I don't know if it makes a difference. It makes me feel better, and I assume at some point
we want to know if you like what we're doing. If not, we're going to keep doing it. But it's we want to know anyway.
We've already recorded. This is episode 10.
Yeah.
We haven't even released a single one yet, which is
I like to think that they have got better, and so we're going to have a whole load of
got better. I don't know if they're good yet, but they got better.
We're going to have like a whole load of bad reviews, which will probably continue a few more from now. Yeah. But
I've got some feedback. People seem to like the show.
That's
I've
good.
Shared it among a few people who I know will tell me it's good. No,
very good,
kidding.
Very good. Let's hope.
This has been the Simon Whistler Show. Thank you guys for listening, watching, however you consume this. We appreciate you, and
we love you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess Simon doesn't. I appreciate our listenership.
I do. I just don't know if we're there yet in our relationship. It's only been 10 episodes.
I wasn't saying it to you.
No, I know. I mean mine and the audience's.
Oh, okay.
I'm just looking you in the eye because you're the only one here.
It got very, very...
really,
what a tender moment.
Slightly uncomfortable. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We'll be back soon.
See y'all.
See ya.